выпуск будет видно, да.
Все, начинаем, да?
Мгм. Спасибо большое. Hello, dear students. Sorry, we have some technical problems. That's the reason why we are going to start our today's meeting. Today we have two lectures. First is problem of management of healthcare system in market society. Our today's unit consists the question of healthcare market and method of its investigation, marketing in healthcare and its features. How many topics we are going to discuss today? One, principle of organization, functioning care, characteristic and healthcare market. Topic number two, supply and demand. Topic number three, main characteristic of healthcare markets. Now, we have some three topics for our practical classes. One, we'll discuss the question of planning in healthcare, the types and the main principles, business planning, and the question concerning the financial management in healthcare, and the question of pricing in healthcare. So, I please you to pay attention to the overview of our today's lesson and to pay attention to the learning objectives of our today's material. I please you to pay attention to the material of our today's lesson, mainly the material concerning the graphics, okay? The material concerning the definition of our today's material, the definition concern the concept of supply, the concept of demand, the concept of market equilibrium, and so on and so on. And it's for you as medics, it will be very important to understand the concept of market forces and the concept of model of demand, model of supply, intended to the question of healthcare security, of healthcare market equilibrium. Now, you will need to pay attention to the question of the main objective. I already said about it, and after the completion of our today's lesson, you will be able to know the meaning of market of healthcare. You will be able to explain the important concept of market, okay, distinguish types of market, explain the meaning of market economy, and so on. That's the reason why I please you to show carefully this presentation, to identify the main vocabulary and keywords or key terms if you want, and at the completion of our today's lesson, you must be ready for testing, okay, and be ready for to publish your an article, okay, an article. Okay, we have some keywords. I please you to pay attention to our keywords, mainly complement goods, customer surplus, demand curve, supply curve, inferior goods, okay, normal goods, substitute goods, and so on, and so on, and so on. Now, we have some references. During our first lecture, I told you about it. You must do the best to find the book of Sukhareva, okay, called or named Healthcare Economics, published in 2 years ago. Now, we have a book of other Russian scientists and non-Russian scientists, according to the question of public health or healthcare economics and so on. Please consult this material and take additional information. Okay, our first topic is a principle of organization, functioning, characteristic of healthcare market. Yesterday, we came to give a good definition about the concept of market. But before we give a definition of market, I please you to pay attention to the next 2 minutes.
Кого вас не видно?
Да.
Не видно, да.
Не видно, да? Спасибо. Потом я закрою, да? Okay, sorry. Now, before we give a good definition of market, okay, I please you to pay attention to the next. During our study of the discipline we call economics, we come to say about the main society we have, the types of society. We said that we have traditional society, we have market society, we call capitalism, we have common economy, we call communism, and we have mixed economy. But when we are going to say about the market economy, okay, we will first say something about capitalism, or called market system. During or in the market system, mainly the means of production is or are private. We have a private, okay, means of production. Now, a modern economy is an economic system where we have, the big part of means of production are private, are owned by private person. That is during the system of capitalism. Now, the basis of market economy is private ownership of means of production. That's very important. Now, studying this material, you will need to pay attention to to some concepts, mainly the concept of market relation formation, which requires definite terms. You see mainly a variety of property forms and organizational economic forms of management. Okay, we have um, uh, we have a state administration of market, okay, and so on. I please you to pay attention, okay, in this material. Another concept concern the market relations are based on principle of mutual benefit, accessibility, payment, equivalent, and so on. The next concept is that a market has an economic category characterized by one, a special care of economic activity coordination, a complex of economic relation of goods or services if you want, purchase and sell, a complex of social economic relation in production, distribution, exchange, and consumption of healthcare goods and services, a control system of medical service providing outcomes, a self-regulation process, okay, and so on, and so on, and so on. Now, dear students, I please you to take a good note of the next. If you ask a question, what is healthcare market? What are market relations objectives objects? What is medical subjects? And you can try to give some definition. Okay, some definitions. Then we already know that the market is the relationship between buyers and sellers, or the relationship between producer and consumers, or we can say that the market is the relationship between offer and demand. That's the same. We can say that the market is the relationship between providers and purchasers. And then we can see, okay, we can identify, um, uh, we can identify some elements, okay, mainly the state medical services market and private medical service market. I please you to see, okay, carefully the content of this table. And studying this material, it's very important for us. It's very important for us to pay attention to the function of healthcare market. Okay? And to understand the content of classification of healthcare market. The classification of healthcare markets according to one, purchase sale object, territorial characteristics, property characteristics, market structure, relation to law, and so on and so on. Okay, I please you to pay attention to the seed. Now, according the healthcare market structure, we must first identify the service segment. Okay, we have two: medical service market and educational service market. Second, trade segment: medicines market, medical equipment market. Okay, and we can propose innovative segment and medical insurance segment. That's the sub elements which we can put in the healthcare market structure. The next element is the healthcare market infrastructure. Financial credit institutions, dear students, in the case we are going to say about financial credit institutions, we want only to say about the systems of bank, okay, or bank systems in your country or in Russia, for example, okay, and that we call the bank, the system of bank institutions, and the system of non-bank institutions. First, bank system, we have central bank, okay, and what we call commercial banks, okay, and we have non-bank system we can call insurance organizations and so on, and any other institutions, okay, we call only financial institutions. The question is to know what are the characteristics of healthcare market. Now we can mention informational asymmetry, okay, and the second we can say about the existence of public goods, okay, but that is a part of medical services, okay, or we can say the features, okay, the features of medical services. The features of healthcare markets, I please you to pay attention, okay. Okay. Our second topic concerns supply and demand. That's the two concepts which you can use for to define, okay, any market. For to give a definition of any market, we must use the concept of supply and demand. Let's begin with the next. What is demand? What is the meaning of demand? What is the good definition of demand? Demand is, according the healthcare terms, yes, demand is a medical services quantity which population wants and can get in sometimes and by a definite price or solvency requirement. Okay, that's demand. And it's very important to understand that the demand depends on one, price, two, income, two, size of population, three, structure of population, next, supply and demand intensiveness, and tasks changes of medical service purchasers. Mainly, for to simplify this material, we can also say only say that the demand depends on price and income parameters. Okay, we can say that demand uh, depends depends on price and income mainly. Okay, mainly. Now we can say that demand is a function of elasticity. What is elasticity? Uh, Elasticity is the parameters we explain the we explain the changing of the quantity of services when price changed. I'm repeating. When the price increase, relatively, the quantity of services decrease. Okay? And if the price decrease, the quantity of services increase. Okay? Okay. The increase in price impact the quantity of services. Now, that's the reason why we said when we have the increase in price, we have a decrease in quantity. And the inverse, big price, we have a small quantity of services we need or we can buy, okay, and the inverse. Now, dear students, we have three parameters of a coefficient of demand price elasticity. Okay, we have a relatively elastic demand when the coefficient is more than 1. Okay, we have elasticity equal to, we can say elasticity of demand when the coefficient equal 1, and we can see we have inelastic demand when the coefficient less than 1. Okay, we have three parameters of elasticity of demand. Now, let's see the tendency of supply. We can say that the supply is a medical services quantity which medical workers can offer in the current time by a definite price. Supply depends on 1, price, 2, quantity of offers, and other parameters like competition, like budget tax policy, and so on and so on. For to simplify this material, we can say that our supply, okay, depends on price and quantity of offers. Now, let's to see a simple figure okay, you can see the liner of supply in red, okay? That is a liner of supply. And in blue, we have a liner of demand. Okay, how to understand this figure? When we have an increase in price, okay, price becoming big, and more big, okay, we have a small quantity of demand, okay, price up, demand less, okay, and the inverse. Now, the point, the equal point when supply equal demand, we call equilibrium point. Equilibrium point. Okay, that when we have market price, equilibrium price, and we have equilibrium quantity. The point E, okay, E, that is the equilibrium point. Okay, now if we have a big price, we have a small quantity, and if we have small price, we have a big quantity. These concepts relate, okay, the law of the market law, we call it market law, law of demand and supply, or supply and demand, okay, supply and demand. That's the relationship we have between demand and supply. We have a big supply, we have a small demand, and we have uh, a big demand, we have a less supply. Sorry, dear students, wait 2 minutes. Okay, sorry, dear students. And now, we came to see, or came to give the main definition of market. We see the main characteristic of a market. We can see the features of healthcare market. That's the reason why I please you to take a good note. Okay. First, uh, you can see the main definition, okay, of market, and I please you to pay attention to the existence of two groups of law: economic law, that are objectives and do not depend on the uh, uh, will of any person, of people. We have a legal law that are subjectives accepted uh, by anyone, okay, any person, okay. Please take a good note. I please you to pay attention to the principle of building of market relations, the condition of emergence of markets, okay. I please you to pay attention to the classification features of market structure, and 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 I please you, I please you to see the condition of the developed market or undeveloped market. Okay? Now, I want to inform you that according to the position of the participant in the market, we can distinguish the seller's market, the buyer market, okay, and so on. But for to simplify, we can enumerate two types of market, seller markets and buyer markets. What are the main parameters of market? We already said about it in our first lecture. That is demand, offer, and price. Okay, we know the context of demand, the concept of offer, can say it or supply if you want, and the concept of price. Now, the same condition of how to represent the relationship between demand and supply. Okay, in our first time, we represent the market like that. Okay, a linear function, but relatively, okay, the market we can represent by this curve. Okay, supply curve and demand curve. Okay. Okay. Demand. What is demand? The quantity of demand for a product or a service is the quantity that consumer want and can buy in a certain period of time. Okay, given a certain quantity of money. Okay, price of course. And the law of demand is that all other things being equal, the amount of demand for a given good is inversely proportional to the price of goods. Okay, that you already said about it. Okay, we can say that a law of demand, when price increase, the quantity of services decrease, and the inverse. Okay, and the inverse. The supply, the value of the supply of a product service is the quantity of that producers of sellers want and can produce or can sell in certain period at a given price. And the law of supply is that all other things being equal, the value of the supply of a given good is directly proportional to the price of goods. Okay, dear students. Now, I want to inform you that we have many types of markets. One, we call market of monopoly market. Okay, monopoly. We have a market of duopoly. We have a market of oligopoly. We have a market of pure monopoly. we have a pure oligopoly, we have a market of competition, we call concurrences, okay, concurrence market or competition. But how to determine that we have a monopoly, or we have a duopoly, or we have an oligopoly, or we have a market of competition? How to determine? First, we must see the quantity of institution in the market. Okay, if you have one seller, okay, one seller, that is a monopoly. Okay, monopoly. One seller, monopoly, or one producer, that's a monopoly. And if we have two producers, we have duopoly. If you have many producers, we have oligopoly. Okay? But if you have one producer and one buyer, one and one, yes, that is a monopoly, but bilateral monopoly, because you have a seller and one buyer. These types of market we call bilateral monopoly. If you have two producers and one buyer, these types of market we call duopoly, monopsony. Okay, duopoly, monopsony. If you have many producers and one buyer, these types of market we call oligopoly, monopsony, because oligopoly, many producers, and we have one buyer, monopsony. And the inverse is, for example, if you have one producer and two buyers, we have monopoly, but duopsony. And we have one producer and many buyers, we have monopoly, oligopsony. And in the case of we have many buyers and many producers, these types of market we call competition, pure and perfect competition. Okay? Now, but we have some types of market we call non-perfect competition, mainly monopolistic competition, or pure monopoly, or oligopoly, and so on. You can see the slide I proposed to you. Now, that's the reason why I please you to take a good note. Perfect competition, okay? Monopolistic competition. Okay? Now, pure monopoly, oligopoly. I please you to see the main characteristic of these types of market, okay? Okay. See, let's to do a small feedback, okay, for to try to say what we said in during our first lecture about the main definition of healthcare and healthcare economics. And you can and I can say you that healthcare has a branch of public economy, okay, has a number of characteristics that violate the operation of market mechanism. Yes, and certain medical services has the property of public goods. Okay? Okay? Oh, I see, dear students, welcome. Okay, to our today's lecture. I see Ghosh. I see. Oh, okay, good. Sugan. Okay, David. Shubham. Okay, Ashu. Azefa. Okay, welcome, dear students. Now, how to determine the degree of sensibility of demand to change in varied factors. How to determine? We have a coefficient we call coefficient of sensibility of demand. Okay, you can see this coefficient we call EPD. Okay, elasticity of demand by price. Okay, elasticity. Okay, coefficient of elasticity of demand by price. We can find this coefficient making a small calculation. Okay, the changing in quantity by the changing in price, we multiply by price and the quantity of demand. That's the reason why we already talked about it. We have three coefficients. Okay, pay attention. Let me to go back. Okay, let me to go back. Oh, sorry, here we have a first coefficient we call relatively elastic demand. Relatively elastic demand when the coefficient EP more than 1, elasticity equal to 1, okay, you see, and inelastic demand when EP less than 1. The second case, we can say that is elasticity demand, okay? Sorry, elasticity demand when the coefficient equal 1, okay? Now, and let's see three cases of changing of demand. In the first figure here, okay, you see we have a small changing in quantity, okay, and a big changing in price. DP, or we can say delta P, is big, okay, you see, delta P is big, but delta Q quantity is small, okay, is small. And if we have the changing in P from P1 to P2, okay, we have a big changing in quantity from Q1 to Q2. And case number 3, you can see the changing in price from P2 to P1. We can get the changing in quantity from Q2 to Q1. Okay. In this condition, we have a variable okay, demand curve D0, okay, D0, okay, with the curve of demand D1, okay. That is an example, okay, of the figure of demand with the difference price elasticity, okay. Good. Now, we have many cases of the impact, okay, of changing in price, okay, of Q, of quantity, okay. Let's pay attention. If you have a small price Q, or sorry, P0, that you call market price P0, we have a market quantity Q0, okay. That is with this point we call market equilibrium, okay. And we have a good quantity of supply, okay, this vertical curve, okay, this one. So let's try to see the case when we have the increase in price from P0 to P1, okay. If the current price is P1, we can buy a quantity of goods or services Q1, and the equilibrium is this point, okay. We have market demand, okay, market demand, when the curve is the curve D1 and the supply S1, okay. Our market point, that is here. But if the price decrease from P1 to P2, the market quantity must increase from Q1 to Q2, and we must have the relationship between the curve of demand D1 and supply S2, okay. That is an example, okay, of the changing in price, which is an impact, okay, the changing in quantity, and the inverse. Let's tell the next. The healthcare market is a developed system of commodity and non-commodity exchange relations, which is an association of separate, interconnected sub-markets, including medical services market, market of medicines, materials, and hygiene products, medical equipments, and instrumentations market, the labor market of medical workers, the market of scientific and technical developments and intellectual labor, okay, the securities market in the healthcare sector. Dear students, I please you to pay attention to the next table, which you can see the differences of commodity market, of perfect competition from the market of medical services. Now, for you, I please you to pay attention to the market of perfect competition. Okay, the medical services market. Dear student, why perfect market? Why perfect market? Oh, sorry. Why perfect competition? Perfect competition because you have unlimited quantity or number, sorry, number of medical institutions and a large number of buyers, you can say it, of patients, okay, people who buy, okay, uh, medical services, okay. Now main conclusion. I please you, dear student, to pay attention to the main conclusions. Okay. And please take a good note, dear students, okay, to the concept of monopoly, monopsony, okay, oligopoly, monopolistic competition, and so on. And now, dear students, I want to pay your attention to the two concepts, okay, monopoly and monopsony, oligopoly and oligopsony, okay, duopoly and duopsony, okay, monopoly, oligopoly, duopoly. We define when we said about producers and about sellers. Okay, one seller, monopoly; two sellers, duopoly; many sellers, oligopoly. And the concept of monopsony, duopsony, and oligopsony when we came to say about buyers, okay? When we have one buyer, that is a monopsony. We have two buyers, duopsony. We have many buyers. We came to say about oligopsony. And the combination, okay, of a number of buyers and a number of sellers, we can find monopoly bilateral or duopoly monopsony or monopoly duopsony, and so on and so on and so on. Thank you very much, dear students. We just come to finish our first lecture of today. Okay, the second lecture we call our lecture number 3. Okay, will begin in a small time. Let's do a pause. Okay, break time, 10 minutes. Okay, 10 minutes break time, dear students. Okay, see you in a few 10 minutes break time. بالبيغ بدك تفتحوا يعني.
Все, звук есть. Теперь это мы сворачиваем. Все. Ага.
Спасибо.
Пожалуйста.
А потом, а кому путь потом? Вам, да?
Не, ну потом позовете их или закройте, или выключите. А ключ зайдет.
Да, да?
Да.
А, хорошо.
Если их не будет, давай.
Хорошо. Когда получается, там закрыть, да, все? Да.
Ну, сейчас все это так записано. Приносят записано. Он не ставит. Я не нужно потом находит через
Я сам запишу дома.
Вы можете везде записать. Или дома, или места. Сегодня. Заранее с вами выполняем, потом через какое-то время они сами замкнули, они вот студенты. А он, заранее сразу сделать еще до сентября.
Хорошо. Спасибо большое. А нет, он момент, Dear students, let's begin our second today's lecture, unit number 3, concerning the question of financing of healthcare in the condition of compulsory Russian healthcare insurance, okay? But I want to tell you the next where I will develop only the question of financing of healthcare generally, okay? And will give a small specificity of Russian system, okay? Yes, and in your investigations, you can see the specificity of your own country, okay? How in your own country the healthcare system are financed, okay? And how the main element of the financing system of healthcare in your country. Okay, let's start. We have two topics. Topic 1, finance in healthcare. Topic 2, the specificity of Russian system, okay, of financing, okay, of healthcare. Okay. Now, it's very important first to say something about what are finance. Okay, what are finance? That's the reason why I please you to take a note on the keywords or key terms. Okay, the first is financing, the second is tax, okay, fee, next insurance, medicine, for example, public health, private medicine, budget, planning, business plan, and so on, okay? That is the main keywords we have in our today's second lecture. Now, references. We have a basic and additional references, okay? The same one. Now, topic number 1. We must say that the nature of finances, types and growth of finances, and budget formation in healthcare, models of healthcare system. Okay, we must tell something about these questions. The amount of money appearance made a condition for finances formation, has an independent field of finance, and partially production relations. Now, what about the international, according to world economy, finances are determined as historical category connected with the state and its institution formation, and economic category has a result of goods money economy, part of economic business, a system of economic relations made under formation, distribution and use of cash resources between state, the healthcare system, and Commonwealth. The basis of organization, effective regulator and stabilizer of economic activity of national economy third including healthcare, process of formation of natural and legal person incomes and their use. Now, dear students, it's for us very important to underline the health system financing is a process of takings, accumulation, distribution, a finance used for satisfaction of people needs in healthcare or in health promotion and care. Yes. Please, dear student, take a note about the advantages and disadvantages of the financing system in the healthcare sector. Okay, dear students. Okay. One of very important questions is the financing sources of healthcare system. I please you to pay attention that this figure is not visible, okay? But I please you only to pay attention. Okay, first you need to underline the concerned organization, maybe farms, employers, and so on. Okay. We have one first direct and indirect taxes. Okay. And this fund or this source can be used for to finance central, called national, regional, local power, okay, for to finance the healthcare system centrally, regionally, or locally, okay, a person, family, or household, okay, we have compulsory health insurance, dues and salary taxes, for to finance independently state means or state needs. Okay, and we have premium or voluntary health insurance, medical deposit balances, and so on. Okay, that is an example, okay, of how we can form, okay, the source for the source of financing, okay, of the healthcare system. That's an example only. Next, we have another example, a multi-channel financing of healthcare institutions. Okay, now we can first indicate assured level of medical care, that is budget, okay, of medical care, and the level of life support. Okay, the second is the fund of source of fund, okay? The source of funding, medical care at the level of health recovery. Okay, and healthcare institutions, healthcare institutions, it's a primary healthcare specializes in a certainly, okay, types of services, and medical core, supplementary medical services, okay, natural and legal persons funding of VHI medical services included into CHI program, okay, and state supply. And here we can say it about the types of VHI in the health systems. Okay, mainly three types. Okay, substitutive, supplementary, and subsidiary. Okay, no, mainly we want to say about insurance compensation from having high individual income. Supplementary, mainly total or partial discharge of expenses on medical services, keeping out of state, financing the state. Okay, or system, financing the system of healthcare and so on. Subsidiary, mainly expansion of purchases tools of possibility to get medical care in private hospital, in private medical institution. Okay, another example of the source of funding, we want to say about the type of population co-payment in healthcare. The first we have co-participation in payment, co-payment, and pre-payment franchise. In the first time, okay, in the first time, we are saying about disabled charge for medical services. The second, that is a fixed rate from total charge for medical care. And three, prepayment of costs for medical services or fixed charge. The next is the basic system of health organization, mainly three, that is insurance, public, and private. including insurance, that is social insurance, multi-channel financing, and so on. Public budget financing, okay? Budget financing, and private financing at the expense of our private student, can call capitalism or investor, okay? This system concern mainly the investment for to get more profit, for to get benefit, okay? If not, we have a question: why to invest my money? For to lose it, to lose money? No, we are going to invest money for to get profit, benefit, okay? Model of healthcare financing. The model include three positions: financing by social consumption funds, financing by compound funds, and financing by private funds, okay? Yes. Now, dear students, dear students, sorry, we have some technical problems, okay? But don't worry, okay? Don't worry. I will submit you this material, okay, in your email address, okay? We have some technical problem here. Okay. Now I said that when we are going to study the problem of financing sources in the healthcare, first we need to see what we call the Bismarck healthcare model. Okay, Bismarck healthcare model. If you want insurance medicine, okay. Yes, that's the first. That's the first. Here we can discuss about the main financing sources of compulsory fixed dues, okay, of employers or employees and special taxes. Second, medical services purchases are independent, specialized organization or the United Insurance Fund. Three, state administrators some element of CHI. Next, upper and lower profit margins. Next, labor remunerations of medical workers is funded or determined by insurance company. Free choice of a doctor and medical institutions. Competition between funds and medical services provider. Resources availability for innovation and medical labor promotion. Yes, that's the first we call Bismarck healthcare model. The next model is called, that's the general feature of Bismarck, Semashko and Beverly health care model. Okay, that is a universal protection system securing medical care. Okay, regardless of risk. During our first lecture, we already talked about risk. What is the risk? Okay, the risk is the probability, okay, of the appearance of loss, the probability of loss. You invest money, you get loss, you lose your money. That it can be the origin of finance risk, economic risk, investment risk, and so on. Okay. Next is equal universal access to medical care. Lack of direct connection between the payment amount, taxes, duties, okay, and the medical service volume. Compulsory participation of the population in the discharge of healthcare costs. And the next is a state control of pricing. Price formation. Okay, pricing is price formation. Price that is depends. Sorry, price depends from the amount of demand. Big demand, big price. Okay, that's a low out price. The next model we call sorry. When we told about Bismarck model, we see mainly the financing resources are compulsory fixed, okay, of employees and special tax. But Bismarck, Semashko, and Beveridge are healthcare models. Okay, the important is to understand the universal characteristic of this model. The main characteristic of private, okay, healthcare financing. One, the main financial source are private, okay, private population finances. Second, social equilibrium and accessibility principle of medical care are broken. Three, a close connection between individual risk and a premium size and the medical services volume. And selection between persons or between peoples, okay, wishing to get medical care. Next, high cost of medical and pharmaceutical services. The price of medicine is very big, it's very big, okay? Next, direction to specialized and high specialized medical care, and competition between medical institutions and insurance companies. It's very important to understand the concept of budget. In any country, you have a budget. What is a budget means? A budget first is a law. It's a law of how to form the source of financing. Okay, that's a law. Legally, it's the law. Okay, But the budget have two parts. The first part we call passive, okay, and the second part we call active. Okay, what is passive? The passive is the law of how to get money, how to get money for budget. That is tax. That is many kind of taxes we call maybe taxes or duties, okay, and so on. And that is passive. The active is the law of how to depends, how to use this money for what? For to finance any activities, maybe healthcare, how to finance the other sector of economy or other economic sector of country. Okay. Now, saying about budget, we want to say about budget is regard in economics. Okay, in economics has a legal category and economic category, a link, okay, of state finance, informal controlling administrative measure, realizing effective regulating of distributive and non-distributive processes in society. Secure instrument of balanced country developed. Okay. Now, the second question of our today's meeting is to see the specificity of financing healthcare in Russia. But for me, it's good that you study, okay, the characteristic of financing system of healthcare in your own country. Okay, that's the reason why all students who want to publish a small article, as we told in our first lecture, can choose, okay, the topic. For example, the main characteristic of for financing the healthcare in India, for example, in Nigeria or in any country. Okay. Now that's the reason why all additional material, according to this topic, okay, will be submitted, okay, to you in your email address. Okay, but we have two part point. Okay, part point. One, that is healthcare financing in Russia, mechanism and assessment of regional budget opportunities. Okay, I will submit this material mainly today or tomorrow. Okay, and the second is healthcare financing in Russia. Okay, that's a very good material for you to read, to see, okay, the specificity of healthcare financing in Russia. And let's see this proposal. Okay, this proposal. Okay, dear students, according to the practice of Russia, in 2018, the total healthcare expenses amounted to 5.1 trillion rubles, of which state expenses is about 65%. That's called maybe you see 3.32 trillion rubles. Private expenses was about 35%. Okay, that's about 1.79 trillion rubles. Then in some European countries, okay, is about 27%. You can see the graphics, okay, of Russia, for example. The federal budget, okay, 16% of all among money came from federal budget, okay, 27 from regional budget, and more than all 60% is OMS, okay, OMS. You see the difference between Russians and European system is that in Russia we have 1, 2, 3 source of funding. Okay, from federal budget, from regional budget, and OMS. But in European country, we have government 65% and private is about 35%. And in the new countries of European, okay, continent, no, is about 27. When you said about new countries, we may Bulgaria, okay, Romania, Estonia, Latvia, and so on. Okay, that is a former country, former Soviet, former Soviet Union countries. Okay, Latvia, Lithuania, Estonia. Okay, and many other countries of Central Europe, Bulgaria, Romania, and Poland, and so on. Okay. I please use this material in Russian, but that's the reason why I try to give you a good translate, okay, of this material. Now, according to Russia, we already say that we have a federal budget, which is formed by federal taxes, okay, federal taxes, you see, okay, and any other sources, okay, that mainly small taxes, okay, duties from salary, okay, that is about 5.1, okay, percent only, and any other taxes from household, okay, we call budget for OMS, okay, And we have regional taxes, okay? Regional consolidated budget. And let's see a small example of the former budget and the common budget, okay, for the financing, okay, Russian system of healthcare. I please you pay attention. We have here, okay, we have here the parameters and the years, okay, from 2012, okay, from 2012 to 2019, okay, 19. Oh, sorry, 21, okay. That is also prognosis, okay. That is also prognosis, okay. Prognosis that is forecast. See. Now we call macroeconomic parameters. First is GDP, okay, GDP in current price. That's a trillion rubles that we see among, okay, years after years, okay. And the next parameter is inflation. Inflation. What is inflation means? 2 minutes. Okay, what is inflation means? Inflation is the parameters of how the price increase in the country, okay, during a specific time or period of time. Inflation, increase in price, okay, increase in price. In Russia, in 2012, okay, the inflation is about 6.6, and today is about 4.0, okay, 0.40. And the index or index of price of market price, you can say it, index of consumer price, okay, is about 3.85 today, okay, against 6.19 in 2012, okay. And any other parameters we can enumerate here is the expenses of budget expenses, you see, sorry, okay, in federal, okay, and if we compare the expenses from budget, okay, and the amount of GDP, we can find a percent 3 and 4 today, okay, against 3 and 3 in 2012. Other parameters, okay, we can find, okay, expenses of federal budget in current price, that is about trillion rubles, okay, you see among, okay, and years after years, these parameters decrease, okay, decrease. I cannot explain you here the factors of this decrease, but the fact is a fact, this parameter decrease. And it's very important for us to see how many money, okay, from the budget go to finance, okay, the OMS program, And we can note that years after years, the money for to finance medicine or healthcare system, according OMS, okay, according OMS, increase very up, okay. If in 2012 we have about 932 trillion rubles, today is about 2,392.5 trillion rubles, and so on, okay, and so on, and so on. It's very important, okay. And a subvention from budget, okay, a subvention from budget for to finance healthcare system. It's very important in Russia, okay. You can see years after years, the amount of subvention, okay, increase from 640.6 in 2012. Today, this parameters is about 2,371.8, okay, trillion rubles. That's a very big money. But if you compare this money in the, now against the past period, you see these parameters have a small decrease, okay. Now, let's to say something about the structure of distribution of public health expenditures. In Russia, okay, if you can see it, we have private expenses, okay, expenditures if you want, that is 35%, is about 1.79 trillion rubles. Government expenditures is about 6503.32 trillion rubles. And the total of expenditures is about 5.11 trillion rubles. And for medical help, okay, for medical help, the Russian system of healthcare financing use more than 85%. Okay, the wages, okay, the fund of wages is about 70%, and for medicine, okay, for medicine and anything like that, okay, is about 30%. Okay, 30%. And saying about the structure of private expenditures on healthcare in Russian Federation, okay, we have mainly, that's only an example, because we see this situation was in 2018, okay, when uh, when when we have more than 49%, that is expenditures for medicines and anything like that, okay, ambulatory condition, okay, and so on. And uh, the expenditures um, about private medical services was about 38%, and about 7%, that is uh, the expenditures for to get uh, sanitary and recreation services, okay, and about DMS, okay, only 6%. That is the specificity of Russian, okay, Russian financing system of healthcare. Okay. Now, dear students, uh, our today material is over. Okay, and I think that I will ask you. Oh, sorry, I will send you. Okay, additional material according to today's lessons. Now, if you have some questions, okay, you can try to write your questions, and I will try to answer to all your questions. Dear students, if you have some questions, I please to write, because I cannot hear you. Okay, I cannot hear you. Okay, we have some technical problems. You can try to write. Please write if you have some question. Okay, dear students. Okay, dear students. Our today's material is over. Okay. Thank you very much for your presence and see you next time. Thank you.
Все оставляйте, сейчас Макс подойдет.
Покажите, пожалуйста, на проект уже есть?
Вот проект сейчас принесет.
Спасибо.
Так.
Сейчас давайте завершим. Здесь все.
Да, завершить.